Hi everyone, this here is Speedyfighter. Hope everyone's having a good day today. So I'm bringing you a new video, and this video is my top 10 favorite multiplayer Call of Duty games. So this is the first time I'm doing a top 10 list, so I hope you enjoy, and if you do want to see more top 10 lists, just let me know in the comment section below. And, give me ideas of what top 10 lists you want to see from me. Maybe you want to see my top 10 favorite movies. Maybe you want to see a top 5, for example, of like my favorite TV shows, or you want to see my favorite, a list of my favorite Game of Thrones characters or favorite Smash Brothers characters in the new Wii U version. So if you do have any suggestions in the comments, just let me know. And if you do enjoy this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get right to it. So starting off at number 10, we have Call of Duty Ghosts. Now Call of Duty Ghosts is kind of infamous for being a really hated Call of Duty game, possibly the most hated Call of Duty game out there. Now it's made by Infinity Ward. So as far as my thoughts on it, I actually do like Call of Duty Ghosts a little more than I find a lot of other people do. I thought the multiplayer was good. It definitely hooked me in for a few months, though it did get boring in the end, and it did have some flaws. So for example, my main flaws were the maps. The map selection was definitely lacking compared to a lot of other Infinity Ward multiplayer Call of Duty games. The weapons, though I did like the marksman rifles, that they were my absolute favorite weapons in the game. And I like that kind of new category of weapon they had. The rest of the weapons were kind of just meh to me, like there wasn't much excitement to it or anything like that. It was just cookie cutter weapons, I guess you could say. But yeah, so Call of Duty Ghosts was good, a little too slow paced. You die a little fast, so it kind of became a camp fest. So it was a good game, not I don't believe in the hate like it is getting, but at the same time, it isn't anything special, and obviously that's why it's my number 10 on the list. Now, one more thing about Call of Duty Ghosts, when it comes to the multiplayer, the best part of the multiplayer was the infected game mode, which I really want them to bring back to Call of Duty Black Ops 3, or at least bring infected into Infinity Warfare, even though I don't know if anyone's going to be playing that game since it's getting a lot of hate. But yeah. So now we move on to number 9. Number 9 is Call of Duty 1, the game that started it all. So when it came to Call of Duty 1, I don't have too much experience with the multiplayer. I played it for like a bit, give or take here and there. But the thing with Call of Duty 1 was it was started it all. It was boots on the ground, and it was World War II. And I absolutely love the World War II setting, the atmosphere, the weapons, and just the grittiness of the World War II setting. So that really put it ahead of Ghost, and that's why I have it on my number 9 spot. But at the same time, I didn't get enough time into the game, so I couldn't rate it any higher than it is. Now, number 8, we have Modern Warfare 3. So this is infamous for only having about a 6-month development cycle because of all the problems with Infinity Ward, with a lot of Infinity Ward actually leaving the company to go and create their own company, which I believe was called Respawn, which is the company that created Titanfall. So due to that, it was kind of rushed. So Modern Warfare 3 was very similar to Modern Warfare 2. And obviously, since they didn't have a lot of time to develop it, that's probably why they kept it really close to home, which is good and bad. So it felt very similar, but they did add a couple things like support streaks, which was great, and at the same time bad because it was very unbalanced. But with that said, keeping it close to home, it just felt like deja vu. It felt like you bought an expansion pack for Modern Warfare 2. However, I really love the weapon selection. I love that they had all these classic weapons from like COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, like the Deagle, the 50 cal, the Spaz shotgun. So that was great. And the maps were definitely lacking a bit. They weren't as, in my opinion, as boring as Ghosts, but they still weren't as great as Modern Warfare 2's maps or COD 2 or COD 4's maps. So that was lacking in that department as well, unfortunately. Now we move on to number 7. And number 7 is, I know a lot of people love this Call of Duty, and that's Black Ops 2. Now Black Ops 2, for a lot of people, especially like newcomers in the series that came into the series a few, maybe 5-10 years ago, tend to really gravitate towards Black Ops 2. And I think Black Ops 2 is a great game, don't get me wrong. But when Black Ops 2 came out, I was kind of at a point in the Call of Duty series where I just needed a break. I just was a little sick of Call of Duty, a little bored of the game and the series itself. So when Black Ops 2 came around, it was really at a bad point as far as my Call of Duty 2, I guess you could say, career goes, or my Call of Duty career goes. So that was unfortunate, but at the same time, I do realize the perks and the greatness of the game, and the game was pretty well balanced for the most part. They definitely had some balance issues, but Treyarch was always fixing it. The maps they had some really amazing maps, and I enjoy the weapons as well. So like the game was good. It had really good fundamentals, and it was just a great solid game. I also like that you typically took about a bullet or two more than most other Call of Duty games to die. So in my opinion, it gave the skill gap, made the skill gap a little higher, because it wasn't just strictly whoever sees that one person first, the other person first wins the battle, right? So that was cool as well, and I did like that aspect. But yeah, I didn't like Black Ops 2 as much as everyone else did, but I still thought it was a great game. Now we're going to another Black Ops, and that is Black Ops 3. So you're actually watching that gameplay right here, where I'm playing Black Ops 3, and playing domination using the Man of War. Now, Black Ops 3 is an amazing game. The thing is, it's boots off the ground. It's got that kind of exoskeleton thruster pack movement system, not as ridiculous, not even close to as ridiculous as Advanced Warfare's. I think the movement system in Black Ops 3 is fine. I have no problem with it, but at the same time, I do like the boots on the ground Call of Duty movement system more. So that's a negative for me with Black Ops 3. However, Black Ops 3 has great weapons. It's probably I would say it might even be the most balanced multiplayer Call of Duty. It's got some really good maps like Combine, Hunted, as you're seeing here. And obviously them bringing back Nuketown was really awesome as well. And I do enjoy the specialist system. It's got its flaws, but it's interesting at the same time. However, there's the issue of supply drops, this whole crypto key thing. I think supply drops is fine, but then they introduce crypto keys and all that bullshit. So I'm not really a big fan of the fact that they're doing all that shit. So that's a negative as well. However, I still really like Black Ops 3, and I'm actually still having fun playing it to this day. And usually with Call of Duties lately, I get bored after a few months, and Black Ops 3's had me hooked for about half a year now. And I'll probably be playing it up until like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Call of Duty 4 Remastered for sure. So it will definitely keep me hooked until then. So yeah, Black Ops 3 was a great game. I really enjoyed it, and that's number 6 on my list. So number 5, now we're going to the top 5, and for the 5th place we got World at War. Now World at War is a really fun game. It's the first Call of Duty World War II game to have like that multiplayer perk system that COD 4 introduced, which I thought was amazing. And again, it's boots on the ground and it's World War II settings. So obviously, like I said with Call of Duty 1, I love that stuff. I love the grittiness. I love the weaponry in World War 1. World War 2. World War 1. I'm thinking of Battlefield now, but World War 2. And I love the maps. This game had great maps. Like Dome was a standout. I don't remember the names too well of the maps, but I do know it's had a handful of really awesome maps that were really memorable. But again, the weapons and the grittiness. I also love the gore aspects. You shotgun someone close range and you shotgun their legs blow right off, and the gore splatters everywhere. And I love that because it keeps it adds a realism to Call of Duty that I think needs to be added in more and more, to be honest. I mean, I'm not saying that it needs to be taken away from being an arcade shooter and make it into like more of a strictly tactical shooter. No, but I mean at the same time, like add more gore, add more realism. Get a headshot with a 50 cal, the guy's head blows up, something like that. This is coming from a Gears of War fan, so obviously it's not surprising that I love the gore aspect. But again, you're shooting bullets and you're killing people, so I don't want like rainbows and flowers and unicorns coming out of people, right? So, but yeah, I love the grittiness. I love the atmosphere. I thought the weaponry was great. I mean, balance-wise, it was pretty good. Obviously, the MP40 was a little ridiculous, but other than that, it was fairly well balanced. But it was such a fun time, I tell you. Play World at War if you haven't played it. It was such a good game. Alright, so World at War is number 5. Now we're going to move on to my number 4 spot, and that is another Treyarch game, and it is Black Ops 1, the original Black Ops. Now, a lot of people are probably surprised that I put it ahead of Black Ops 2 and 3, but the reason being was the Vietnam setting. So this is the first time Call of Duty's got put into the Vietnam setting, and I loved it. I love the weapons. I love the atmosphere. I'm not going to go into the single player, but single player was really awesome as well, and I think it was due to the setting, but like it was just so much fun to play Black Ops 1's multiplayer. I thought it had some great maps as well. The kill streak system was perfectly fine to me. I love they had dogs again added in just from World at War. I actually forgot to mention in World at War they have a dog kill streak, which I just love. This, and I'm not talking ghost dog kill streak. I'm talking like a group of dogs, man. It was just awesome. It was just great. So they reintroduced that back in Black Ops 1, and yeah, the weapons was great. Everything felt good. Like it just felt like a really good game. It was like World at War, in the sense that it just felt right. It felt right. However, this time it was put in the Vietnam setting. I really would like Call of Duty to revisit the Vietnam setting. I don't think they've done it enough. I would like them to revisit World War II setting as well, but they've done it quite a bit. Whereas the Vietnam setting, they've only done once, and I think the Vietnam setting is an easy setting to have a Call of Duty game put in, right? So hopefully they do revisit it one day, but I absolutely loved Black Ops 1. So now we're going to move into my top 3. So number 3 is Modern Warfare 2. So Modern Warfare 2 was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. It had some of my favorite kill streaks. It has some of my favorite Call of Duty maps. And it has some of my favorite weapons and attachments in the Call of Duty series. So think of Modern Warfare 2 as like Call of Duty 4 on some serious steroids. Like literally, it was Call of Duty 4 on steroids. Everything was ridiculously powerful. But at the same time, due to that, it wasn't really unbalanced for the most part. I mean, there were some unbalances, but they got fixed. Like the Model 1887 shotguns. However, because that everything was so powerful, they equaled each other out. You know what I mean? So there wasn't really too much standout weapons and attachments, which I loved. Same with the kill streaks. But you could tell they made Modern Warfare 2 more about the fun. They just wanted it to be about the fun. It wasn't the competitive scene they were trying to appeal to. They were trying to just appeal to people who love Call of Duty and just want to have a lot of fun going online playing some multiplayer. So yeah, graphics are great for its time. I think Modern Warfare 2 is just so phenomenal, and I really hope they remaster it like they're doing Call of Duty 4. Now we're in the big old top 2, and number 2 is Call of Duty 2, coincidentally. And Call of Duty 2 is actually the first Call of Duty game I've ever played, and it was on the 360, and that's when I fell in love with the series. It started it all for me, and I think it was just amazing. The gameplay was solid. It was as solid as it can get. Like, I gotta say, the graphics were beautiful at the time, and the maps, the multiplayer maps, are arguably my favorite multiplayer maps in the series. Between that and COD 4, it's definitely a toss-up. So yeah, I absolutely loved Call of Duty 2. I mean, it was only 4-on-4 gameplay, but hey, it was a lot of fun. That's the thing. It was just simplistic. There was no kill streak, there's no perks, but it was just the gameplay they focused on. And they knew their gameplay was strong enough that was all they needed. And obviously Call of Duty 2 wasn't really a multiplayer-centric shooter. It was completely about the single player, but the multiplayer just struck out and was just perfect for me. So that's when they realized that they had a hell of a multiplayer game on their hands, and then they developed it for our number 1 pick. So yeah, so Call of Duty 2 is my number 2 pick. Hopefully you've played it, and if you haven't played it, I really recommend you go back and play it, because I'm sure a lot of people have not played Call of Duty 2 yet. So wow, number 1, we are at number 1, and so number 1 spot is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I don't think anyone's too surprised about this pick. I mean, it is probably not out of the ordinary, but Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is easily the Call of Duty game I put the most time in when it comes to multiplayer. The multiplayer maps are top notch. There's so many memorable maps that get remade in every new installment of Call of Duty. These maps get remade because they're so good and people want them, like Crash. I tell you, Crash might be my favorite all-time Call of Duty map. The weapons felt great. The attachments were fine. I mean, there were some little things like frag grenades being a little powerful, obviously grenade launchers. Explosives were just a little powerful, and then the M16 was ridiculously good. But other than that, like, it was pretty well balanced too. And it just had 3 kill streaks, which I thought was great. It was just nice and simple. The perk system was great. There was a couple of stupid perks like martyrdom, but at the same time, for the most part, it was great, and it just revolutionized the series multiplayer. And it really revolutionized console multiplayer at the very least, and I think multiplayer first-person shooters in general. So it's the game that started this crazy multiplayer fiasco that is Call of Duty. So yeah, I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original, is my favorite Call of Duty multiplayer game, and it's not probably surprising to any of you. So if you enjoyed this list, make sure to leave a like and a share, and make sure to share it in the comment, and then in the comment section below, make sure that you let me know what your list is. What are your top 10 favorite Call of Duty multiplayer games? I'm really curious. I'm sure everyone has a different opinion, and I definitely want to hear all your opinions. So yeah, if you want more lists like this, let me know in the description below, and in the comment section below. I'll let you know the information in the description below. And yeah, hope you have a great day, everybody. Take care and peace out.
Yeah.